Yes, there's the Airbourne Assault Museum here as well. What's that say?
About the formation of Parachute Regiment.
Alright.
June 1940.
Yeah. There's weapons here. Knives, machine guns, submachine guns, anti-tank missiles, bazookas. That one there. Iraqi copy of the Dragunov rifle. Pistols with stocks, mortars. And various Kalashnikovs.
The Germans are now fighting desperately to isolate the scattered airborne troops.
Used to be.
Northwest of Palestine, they are attempting to wipe out the air landing brigade on the
Yeah, we
dropping
went there
zones.
2 years ago.
Between Oosterbeek and Arnhem, the enemy have thrown a cordon of tanks and infantry to prevent any further reinforcement of the airborne troops at the bridge. At the bridge itself, the bloodiest action is being fought out. The British force of less than 600 men is now contained within a small area, barely 300 yards wide, astride the northern ramp. Ceaseless German attacks are launched with incessant shelling and mortaring from point-blank range. But the men of the bridge stand firm.
It's the original briefing board for the Rhine crossing.
2 sections and 3 sections are to cross the stream under cover of 1 section and infiltrate just short of the buildings in the wood.
Well, it went to a lot of trouble to build those boards, didn't they?
Break into the house on the left, covered by the other section, and then move across to the right, still covered by the
Rhine crossing, 24th of March to 2nd of May. The final mass parachute and glider assault of the Second World War. But all these items were delivered by parachute. Little bicycle, little moped, stretchers, bicycles, radio sets. A paradog. Oh, look at this thing here. No, that doesn't work, does it? The Falklands. The pack they were carrying there.
Civilian life.
So Pegasus and Bellerophon were the winged horse of the airborne warrior recorded in history. A smock worn by Private Leonard Cole. He wore this smock on D-Day, 6th of June. There's the battle honours of the Parachute Regiment, Northwest Europe, Brunei, North Africa, Sicily, Italy, Northwest Europe, Southern France, Arnhem, Greece, South Atlantic, Iraq. Jenny's gone back to the van. She's going to check on Poppy and feed her. And I'm just going to carry on and have a look in the other areas over here, sort of land warfare areas. So this is the Flying Aircraft Museum. Well, it's where they're restoring and working on aircraft that do fly, or are intended to fly, I guess. There's a Curtis Hawk used by the French Air Force in the Battle of France. Spitfire Mk VB. So that's a Grumand Bearcat with folding wings for the aircraft carriers. Single seat fighter. And the B17 Flying Fortress. It's got the engine covers off at the moment. Catalina, Scottish Airways Limited. And that's a Fokker triplane. Built on the principles that 3 wings were better than 2. That's Catalina flying boat. Very strange looking aircraft, really. With a wing above it. It looks like a boat from the front. You look up and see the engines. Yeah, so this is the air and sea section. This is privately owned. Privately owned planes. So a Spitfire Mk IX. Unmistakable nose of the Blenhiem. Gives you all the controls there. Yeah, so this Spitfire took part in the film The Battle of Britain. The collection they've got here. Another one.
Jack?
And this is an amazing looking thing. It was a starter. So it's called a Hucks Starter. And that was the crank. Driven by a chain. Huh. A Hawker Nimrod. The only airworthy Mark II Nimrod in the world. What a collection. Hawker Seahawk. It's a Fairey Gannet, the twin prop. Two-seat prototype flew in September 1948, made the first landing by turboprop engine on an aircraft carrier in June 1950. Another one with folding wings. This is a Grumman Avenger, flown by Flight Lieutenant George Bush. It's painted to represent the TBM flown by President George Bush when as a lieutenant he served in the Navy. Named the aircraft Barbara after his wife. This is a Buccaneer. So with the Fleet Air Arm and the RAF, and this was able to deliver a nuclear weapon at low level. The RAF used the Buccaneer after the cancellation of the TSR-2 and the decision not to purchase the F-111 or the F-111. Some of the missiles that it would use: anti-ship air-to-surface missile. This is the Rapier low-level air defence guided missile system, towed by the inimitable Land Rover. Yeah, so this is the Westland Sea King anti-submarine search and strike aircraft designed to find and destroy enemy submarines. Helicopter anti-submarine. A Westland Wasp. I suppose it's called that because of its legs. It served in the Falklands in 1982. It was a scout helicopter, compact, light, could carry anti-submarine onboard anti-submarine frigates and other small vessels, carried torpedoes, depth charges, or missiles. Yes, this German Midget submarine was found sinking just off Dover. And captain and pilot of the vessel was found to have died from carbon monoxide poisoning because he didn't close one of the hatches properly. Some of the aircraft on the runway. God, there's some gun there. So this was a 9.2-inch coastal defence gun. It was originally sighted at the Spur Battery in Gibraltar. So cunningly tucked away here, a V1 missile or V1 flying bomb. It is a replica. Was basically a pilotless missile or flying bomb designed for use against London. Hitler hoped that V1 and V2 rockets would alter the course of the war against the Allied bombing of German cities. Most were fired from steam-driven ramps and then self-propelled to their targets by a pulse jet motor. Preset controls guided the missiles to their target area where they dived to earth and caused widespread damage. 10,000 V1s were launched against England, but most were destroyed by anti-aircraft guns or fighters, although 3,000 V1s got through and killed 20,000 people in London and other cities. Well, it didn't alter the course of the war, obviously. The ramp was 142 feet long, angled at 6 degrees. It's 42 metres. The ramp displayed here is a composite, because they brought several of the ramps for assessment and use in experimental programs, after which they were abandoned. See the size of it, really, it's quite scary. about the collaboration between America and Britain during the 20th and 21st centuries. And the biggest aircraft here, of course, is the Stratofortress. It takes up most of the whole. Wow. It's the Warthog. Fairchild-Republic A10 Thunderbolt Warthog, basically designed to destroy Soviet tanks. Used against Bosnia, Kosovo, Afghanistan, Libya, Iraq, and began flying missions against ISIS in Iraq. So that missile down there is the SA-2 missile that shot down the U-2. So this is the SR-71 Blackbird. So the SR-71 Blackbird holds a current altitude record, 85,000 feet. Designed to fly ultra high and ultra fast. Could travel at 3 times the speed of sound. Could fly from Cambridge to Edinburgh in 10 minutes. Designed as a replacement for the U-2. It was still flying the U-2. Just a very, very impressive aircraft. I think I read somewhere that until it reached its altitude and speed, the tanks would leak because they're made of titanium, I think. Still underneath, everything's underneath the Stratofortress here. Just quite incredible. An undercarriage here. Wow. Armoured Land Rover. But yeah, so undercarriage here as well. Just incredible. And so the wings and the engines, 4 on each side, take up the whole hall. Possibly one of the most famous aircraft of World War II as well, B17. Wings are quite low. Yeah. So my last part of this visit is a visit to the Land Warfare Museum. PC and a towed howitzer. A mobile bridge. These are Russian field guns and limber. US 75mm field guns. And that's a British heavy trench mortar. Presumably British 6-inch heavy howitzer. Was used throughout the First World War. Particular gun fired 1,500 rounds between June 15 and February 16. A British 2-pounder anti-tank gun. It's a Valentine Mk III infantry tank. It's a field artillery tractor. A Morris. It's a heavy artillery tractor. It's a 7.2-inch howitzer on a US carriage. Anti-tank guns, a Soviet anti-tank gun, a Soviet field gun, a Soviet anti-tank gun. A mountain goat. Italian light tractor. It's a replica Tiger 1. Another Soviet gun. It's a T-34 85 medium tank. So this beast here is a Joseph Starling 2M heavy tank. Certainly was heavy. It's all about the Normandy Experience. And the enemy hiding out in the French bocage. Centaur command tank. A Daimler armoured car. Mark I Daimler armoured car. A bit of a flat tyre there. Engineers. See, portable BSA M20 motorcycle. Universal carrier. This was Monty's tank. Had extra communication equipment on board, so they put a dummy gun on it. So he used it. See what was going on, presumably. This is a Comet Tank A34 Comet Tank. It's superseded by the Centurion. That's an International Harvester M386 TEL American tractor used to operate the Honest John missile. Don't get anything very honest about that. So this is a British Centurion Mk III on a tank transporter. That is huge, absolutely enormous. That was a Thornycroft Antar tank transporter. This is the Conqueror Tank, which was basically withdrawn, I think, at the end of the 50s. Oh, it entered service in 55, but withdrawn 7 years later because it was too heavy and difficult to manage. Going a little bit more up to date, this is the Afghanistan taxi, or the internal security patrol vehicle. It's about the Falklands campaign. That's Iraqi BMP. Or Soviet Iraqi BMP1. The little thing over there is a all-terrain small transport vehicle, an EPS Springer. The back is a Challenger main battle tank. Saw action in 1991 in the Gulf Wars and in 2003. Soviet truck at the back, a Gaz. Czechoslovakian anti-aircraft gun over here. Yeah, very good. And that's the Chieftain main battle tank. Yeah. Well, I think that's it for my visit to Duxford. Really enjoyed this, and I hope you have. I think I've filmed enough footage for about 3 different videos. So if you enjoyed it, give us a thumbs up, remember to subscribe, and I'll catch up with you very soon. Yeah, we're having some epic rain. It's raining, Pops.